Circumstances beyond my control have occurred that prevent me from filming a decent video to put up this weekend. In tragic times such as these, we must keep a level head, and we must not panic. We must not despair. We must persevere. We must face these challenges head on, muddle through somehow. Do not despair. Video is coming up. Classic replay. Enjoy. It is time to cut silage. Hey, guess what? It is time to cut silage, so I gotta get everything ready. I gotta go work on equipment and get the wagon ready, and get the blower ready, and the cutter ready, and the tractor's ready, and the silo prepared. So I guess that's what I'm going to do. At least I'm very familiar with this equipment. I know everything I got to do to get it ready. It's same stuff I've been using since I was a little boy when my dad was cutting the silage. This equipment's about a half a century old, 50 years old, some of it's 60 years old. So anyhow, see if it holds up. Just try to make it last one more year. Take you along for the ride. Follow me. See ya. There's one tire I'm not going to take a chance on. I am going to change it on the my old silage wagon here. Let's see. Woo! I may have to do a little bit of patching on the floor in here. As you can see, there's more patches than there is floor left. Where am I going to find some sheet metal? I'm sure I got something around here. Yeah, I got them under the slats anyway. Brought stuff back from we'd entered into the fair, and stick of tobacco, and entered some silage corn in there. Some stalk. Got first and second. The shortest got first. I don't know why. Timber! Better pick that up. Chickens will make a mess of it. I'm going to put the 40-30 on the blower this time. I guess I got the blower greased up good. Usually use the big tractor. Don't bother them pigs, dogs. Fill it. Got some pigs in that trailer. The dogs are, I might, curious. Anyway, been using the 3150 on the blower, but when I rebuilt the pump, I turned it up. I'm afraid I'm going to wring the shaft off. It's already twisted a bunch. So figure I put the 40-30 on there. Anyway, let's get it back there. Leave them pigs alone. Been very bad the last couple of years. I didn't take this thing down and put it away. I meant to, but didn't have help. But anyhow, hope it works. Yep. Guess there won't be no more concerts for a little while. Got to put some doors in there. But I can put a load or two in before that. Hey, working on getting the silage cutter ready, been greasing it and throwing oil on the chains. I got to sharpen the blades now, so that's what I'm working on. For that to stop spinning. I don't know how many RPMs it turns, that cutter head, but it's heavy and it takes a long time to stop. It's almost stopped. There you go. Now I'm going to cut the tractor off. Make sure that it don't accidentally start turning again. Don't know how it could, but I like all my fingers. I've grown quite attached to them over the years. Let's see. Oh yeah. I wouldn't want to shave with it, but for carving off chunks of corn stalk, I'd say that probably will do to start with anyhow. Yep. Guess I'll start tomorrow. We'll see if everything holds up. Well, everything tests out all right, so I don't know, went and cut 3/4 of another load, and I'm going to try that. Everything seems to be working, so hopefully it'll continue. Hey, some people were asking about what kind of corn I grow, and some of it is what's called open pollinated, and which just means it's non-hybrid. And it's kind of a, I wouldn't say a typical ear, but it's a nice ear. They're usually about 10 inches long, and they're not all yellow. Sometimes they're this color, sometimes they're really ruby red color, but they generally get a good ear on them, and they're pretty long. And I think when I bought the seed 10 or 12 years ago, the variety was, I think, a weird name, of the Wapsie Valley. I think it was the name of the corn variety, and then there was another variety I can't remember the name of, but anyhow, they kind of cross-pollinated, and I think they kind of cross-pollinated a little bit with some of my hybrid corn that's non-GMO. But anyhow, it generally gets a real nice ear like that. I mean, I have had an ear that was 13 inches long, some that are 12 inches long, but it usually gets about this big. You get a nice ear on. The stalks are not as strong, but so if you want to save it for picking, a lot of times the ear will fall off because it's so heavy, or the stalk, being not strong enough, will go down. So, but it makes real good silage corn, because you can obviously you cut it before the stalk starts to dry and get weak. And anyhow, thought you might find that interesting. Oh, and I don't need to buy seed corn. I just go in there and grab some ears and shell it off and plant it. So it saves quite a bit that way. Hey, we got a spare of almost everything that we could have a spare. We don't have a spare silage wagon, but like hay cutters and a hay rake, and used to have I do have a spare tedder also. Don't have a spare baler, but I don't have a spare silage cutter that I can use, but I got an old parts one down here. As you can see, this is the header off of it that I get parts off of. From time to time, got the whole machine back there that we can get pieces off of and whatnot. But I, shucks, many years ago, just an interesting story, many moons ago, Dad, when I was in high school, Dad would tell me to get the silage cutter and equipment ready to go, because he was going to start cutting silage that Saturday morning. And so I said, yes sir. And when Dad tells you something, you better do it. He was a good guy, but he's meant what he said. He said what he meant. And so I come home from school, and well, I started greasing it up and everything, and I got most of the stuff done. Dad had been away on a trip, and he was getting back that evening. Well, he'd gone to a Farm Bureau function of some kind. And I noticed that all the chains were a little loose on there, so I decided to tighten them up. So I tightened up every blessed one of them, and there was one, it's always one. Come to one of them, I could not get to move, could not get to tighten. It has one sprocket at the bottom that you loosen up, and see, it should be the one that'd be down here. This it wasn't this particular one, it was the one on the other side, and I'll show you that. It's down there, but it would not move for nothing. And so I decided, well, I'll just tap it a little bit with a hammer. I tap. Nothing. I couldn't get the slide, the sprocket to slide. So I got me a bar and put on it, and you know, had about 4 foot sticking out, and I got a big hammer, and I said I'll just tap it, and I tap, and I said, well, give it a good whack, and I felt it move. I said, oh boy, it's moved. That wasn't such a good thing, because it had moved, but the reason it moved is because it broke in 3 pieces. It was completely busted, and kind of like this one here. You can see how this one's busted. Yeah. But anyhow, I said, oh, this is not good. Dad's expecting this machine to be ready to go tomorrow morning. So this is about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the evening, and the dealers for farm equipment around here, New Holland, is we didn't have one anywhere near. It's like an hour and a few minutes away. They'd have been closed by the time I called them, and this is a part that they wouldn't have really had in anyhow, and it wouldn't have got there by tomorrow morning. This is, you know, 40 years ago. So 41 years ago, there was nothing I could do. I thought maybe I could take and braze the thing back together, but it's cast iron, and it's kind of under a fair amount of pressure. I wasn't thinking that brazing was going to hold, so I don't know. So I walked around and started looking. I could not just let it go. I couldn't tell Dad, well, I broke it, you know, we'll have to wait till, you know, next week to cut. The corn was ready, and Dad told me to have it ready, so I better daggone well have it ready. So I started looking around at every piece of equipment that I have on this farm to find a sprocket that I could maybe use for that. I could not find one anywhere. Look, on old, we have an excellent supply of spare parts in our fence rows where we have old junk equipment sitting, you know, just for a future reference, and like any good farm should have. Anyway, I looked and looked, could not find anything, and I was despairing as to what I was going to do. Finally, I thought, you know what? Down there, we moved that thing a while ago. We have from the 1800s an old horse-drawn hay loader, one of them things you pull, like, it looks like you're pulling it backwards and behind a wagon. It picks up the hay and it goes up and dumps it in there. Anyhow, it was an old horse-drawn thing from the late 1800s. And I go down there and I look, and there is, sure enough, there's a sprocket on there. It had 2 more teeth on it. It was too big around, but it was for the same size chain. And so I quick unbolted the darn thing and took it up, chucked it up in the lathe and machined out the middle of it to fit this thing, hoping that it wasn't too big around it would still work on there. So I machined it out, just hoping that it would hold up till we got the new piece to put in it. Got it machined out, bolted it all up. By the time it got dark and Dad got home, I was just putting the tools away, and I didn't even mention none of this to him. He just asked if did I have things ready. Yes, sir. I got it ready to go. Ready to go. No problem. So anyhow, we used that cutter for 40 years, 35 years anyway, with that sprocket on there. And it's the one that's on this heater. I'm going to turn this thing around and show you. It's that sprocket down there is the one, and it's still on there. I got to take it off there before we scrap this thing, because I got to keep that sprocket. I got to put it back on that hay loader. Never know where you might want to use it. But anyhow, I just thought that was amazing that old thing not only got us through that year, but it stayed on there for 35 years till the rest of the header wore out and the rest of the cutter wore out, and I ended up getting another old one, and it was a little bit better shape than this. Nursing that through year after year, just like I do all my equipment. So anyhow, I thought you might enjoy that story, and I did tell Dad after a while, after a few years, or maybe it was just the next week, I can't remember, but after I realized it was going to hold up, I told him. So anyhow, thought you might enjoy that story. I'll catch you later.